Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Whether we are out riding with our friends and family or racing in extreme environments, we all need good tires. That's why I recommend GBC Power Sports Tires, a division of Greenball Corp. Their products, which include XC Master, Mini Master, and Groundbuster 3, are what leading professionals in the ATV-UTV industry are using. You can get your tires at greenballtires.com or find them on Instagram as GBC Tires for further inquiries. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. Welcome to DBR Racing Products, the leader in 3D modeling and innovations. Since 2015, they have been revolutionizing the industry, starting with their groundbreaking YFZ 450R battery boxes. But they didn't stop there. They have continued to push the boundaries, constantly improving their design with each new version. In 2018, they introduced the game-changing Vortex EXO cage, specifically designed to securely hold the Vortex ECU in a safe and sturdy location. This breakthrough innovation ensures your ECU stays protected even in the toughest racing conditions. At DBR, they understand that every detail matters. That's why they also offer an array of essential products to enhance your racing experience. Their spark plug hold downs keep your engine firing at peak performance, while their LTR breather boxes ensure optimal ventilation for your machine. Their LT250 engine skid plates are a must-have for those seeking unmatched protection. Engineered to shield your engine from impacts and rough terrain, they provide the ultimate defense for your ATV. But that's not all. They've developed propel mounts that allow you to use TRX 450R Nerf bars, giving you greater control and maneuverability on the track. To explore their full range of innovative products and learn more about DBR Racing, visit their website at www.dbratv.com. You can also reach them directly at 507-828-1233. Their knowledgeable team is ready to assist you with any questions or inquiries. DBR Racing Products, where innovation meets performance. Unleash the power within you. A lot of time on the road together, and a lot of time. Well, and a lot of our lives together.
It scarred me for life. I'll probably never be the same.
Probably not. But I just want to say how much I appreciate it. This is our 3rd year anniversary show. We've been doing this for 3 years. So since the first time that we taped till now, it's been 3 years. You were the first guy that I had on the show, and I wanted you to be the anniversary show. So I really appreciate you coming and doing this. We are at the San Diego Off-Road Coalition's Off-Road Jamboree here in Lakeside, California. We're at a mobile show, so we're at a mobile event. So some of the background you hear, we apologize for it, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it with cars going by and people talking and walking by. So please bear with us, and Doug and I are going to have a conversation about his career racing, and we're going to catch a little bit more about your racing career instead of we got a lot of background from you, where you were from, things like that. There's also a big conversation, Doug, and I want to just head this off first. There's also a big conversation on the internet about who the greatest of all time is, and yeah, I'm biased, and everybody knows it, and we're just asking, in your mind, who's the greatest ATV racer of all time?
Man, there's so many people that are experts in their field and stuff like that. And, great Jerry did. It's hard to put a thumb on that guy and say he's not one of the greatest or the greatest. But he did it back east with all the fast guys, pretty much back east. Motocross guys and stuff. They're back east. Hats off to them. They're better riders back there for some reason. They get a lot of practice time or something. But I don't know. There's so many. I'd like to think of myself as the most diversified rider. I can do about everything and done about everything. So I don't know. I'm proud and happy that you feel like I have the greatest all time, but I don't think of myself that way. I just want to be remembered for what I have done and be remembered as one of the greatest. That's all that matters to me, really. And without your help, without your help, without Duncan's help, Rowan's help, and it probably wouldn't ever happen. So, it's the big hats off to you and a lot of other people that has, constantly pushed me along my way, mainly. So, there's so many people to thank and so many people really responsible for getting me where I was and where I am and what I've done and stuff. So, I always look back and said, man, I should have worked a little harder and could have done more, But, 2020.
Right. Hindsight's 2020. Rendezvous was a special time for you. You raced it many times. You still hold the all-time winning record there with 7 wins. Martin Fletcher was a big part of that, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Yeah. So,
very sad day.
You've had some special times with Martin. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Most of them I remember with him is him getting drunk and falling down. Those Englishmen, they like their beer, but no, only a couple times he was hammered. But at the races, he was more than professional. A great guy, really was active in knowing what was going on with all that Rendezvous stuff, and he really helped us. Over there, as far as building the bikes for us, he built some great machines every time. They were just beautiful. And then, Lauren built a great motor for us to run, and Lenny wiped them down and made them look pretty. So that was a great time over there. Every time we went, we always had a great time. I always had a good time, and we always did good. And there's always little gremlins or little things that happened that we didn't win them all. But I'd like to win them all, but you can't win them all. There's always going to be somebody faster on one day than you and your team. I did it with Mark Earhart the first couple of times, and we were a great team. We both rode our butts off, and the guys over there would go, "How can you go so fast at night?" And I go, I don't know. I can't see what I'm going to hit. Just go faster. So, but it's one of my things. I like riding at night, and excuse me. Martin was a big part of there. He was a great guy, and
yeah, it hit Lauren pretty hard. He went over and paid his respects to the family. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go, but those guys over there in Europe were always such a huge part of it and helped us out a lot. I got to be there in '93 when we won the first one, and I thought that was super special. And you think '93, 2023, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, it's always great being up there in front of all the people and stuff, and holding the American flag up on top of the box. You know, the better.
Yeah, I remember I gave you the pitboard sign with 15 minutes to go that we had clinched. We'd already won because we had such a big lead that no matter what happened, they could not pass us in laps, and that was a pretty special.
Yeah, we done whooped them that year.
Oh yeah, we did. And Martin was the lead mechanic, and I got to be the second. And that's, you know, out of all the times that you raced over there, that's the only time that I worked with you.
Over there?
Yep.
Yeah, we were always with somebody else. Pretty late.
I was very blessed. I got to work with Rafael Sonic and Caminini, Yamaha of Italy. I got to do some things with those guys, which was pretty special in its own right. But talk about riding with some of the legends from the European side. I mean, those guys were all great. Paul Winrow. Why can't I think of the other guy's name?
Johnny
Mitchell.
Yep,
he was awesome.
He was good. Yeah, another good rider from over there. You know, Paul was probably the funnest. You know, he was a character, kind of like I am. We always joked around and gave each other crap and just, you know, playing pranks on each other and stuff. But when it came to, you know, race time, we both put on our race faces and we did good. And, you know, the bikes always, you know, helped us and the great mechanics work and the Lauren's motor and stuff they're flawless. But yeah, and Johnny Mitchell, another great kid, another great rider. He was pretty quiet, kind of in his own little shell, you know, but he was a great rider too, real fast, and you know, the people were just great people, real nice people. Still shout out to Paul every once in a while on Facebook and whatnot, but yeah, it was a good time over there.
It is a lot of fun to go over there and spend some time. What about the course? Because the race course changed from year to year, generally based on the weather.
That was the most change with the weather. Yeah, it was either hard packed, breaking up. I mean, the clods were coming at you like, you know, anywhere from a quarter up to a golf ball or bigger, and those babies hurt, especially when you're doing what we're doing over there, like 80 miles an hour.
No, there were 200-mile-an-hour straightaways with those Banshees.
Yeah, with the Banshee, down the straightaway, 100 miles an hour. It's like, man, and the four strokes, when they came out and they were running and stuff, man, they threw some rocks too. They weren't rocks, they were just dirt breaking up, and it came out in big old clods. But the course was just super fast. I mean, you really had to be good on your braking and have your braking points, and then there's another, it depends on what year, but there's another, you know, 80, 90, 100 riders out there with you, and this course is, what is it, 7?
I don't remember the length, but it was a 3-minute lap time.
Yeah, it was at least 5, I think, but and so you'd think you'd be spread out with that many guys, but man, you get into some clusters every once in a while where guys are going every which way. And a lot of these guys are not traveling at 100 like you are. You're doing about 50, 60, and they think they're hauling ass. And you come up on them really quick, and it gets kind of scary sometimes. But like I said, the course is either perfect, or it's all broken up and dried up and coming apart, or it has rained and it's a mud bog and mud fest. And for having a Banshee out there in the rain, we did pretty good far as to get that ready for the mud and make it so it would run and stay running, and you know, because the radiator's right up in the front, and you know, and big open thing. So it was a little bit tougher to ride in the mud, But we made it. All the help and stuff, we made it work.
I remember in '93 when we were there, we wore the tires to the cords. I mean, you guys ran the tires till they were cords.
Yeah, the dirt was so hard packed and slick, and a lot of sparks were just almost like you could see the tire burn off where the dirt was black, and guys breaking in the corner and coming out of the corners and stuff. And it just wore the tires right out. It was left almost like sandpaper out there that year. It was really weird.
Yeah, I don't think we wore the tires in any of the other years that I went. I believe when I was working with Sonic one year, we ran the same tires the whole race. Yeah, we were slower.
Well, that's
Four-stroke tire wear is different than two-stroke.
Yes,
tire.
it is. Definitely.
One of the
Especially got a hopped up Banshee that just,
you could never.
It's just straighten your arms out half the time. Anyway, you come out of the corner, your just legs are flying in the back and trying to hold on.
One of my favorite portions of that course were the ski jumps. You'd come off over the bridge, coming over the one portion of the track, and you would never shut off. You'd come around that left-hand turn, you'd hit high gear as you're going off that jump, or you might have one gear to go before you're in high gear, and you're just pinned wide open. You never even lift.
Oh yeah, you hit most of those jumps out there wide open. They had a couple of tabletops on the backside, the announcer stand and the podium, stuff like that. But they were bad. But the other ones, you could hit those things, ski jumps, and wide open, and you pray that something doesn't break, like an axle or something, because you're flying. It's just like the Olympic skiers, man. You just go up and jump, and you lean up over the bars, and
yeah, it was an incredible time. They still get crowds in the 25,000 plus range.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's
well, that's the biggest crowds we ever raced in front of.
Yeah. Well, Mickey Thompson's.
But
Mickey Mouse's.
The Mickey Thompsons were a whole nother era of your career you got to win the final.
Won the last race of the year on the Banshee. On the Yamaha Banshee.
In your home state.
In my home state. Yeah, there's nothing better than that. That was awesome. The first time, it wasn't the first time Banshee, because Don Turk rode a Banshee, but it had a two-stroke motor in it.
So to clarify that, you won in the stadium, he won in the fairgrounds. So they were different kinds of...
Way at the beginning of Mickey Thompson.
Yeah, a totally different kind of racing.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, for that kind of a tight, kind of turny course, I wasn't sure about the Banshee, because it's just, they're top speed. You got to keep it on the pipe, but Lord built a great, a bottom end motor for a Banshee. It ran good there, and it was hooking up, and it was in my hometown, and it was sad to say it was the last one of the forever, and
right.
I really miss those days of Mickey Thompson races too. Those were awesome too. You get to go down on the floor and sign autographs and stuff like that for the kids, and I always ask them for money. I go, okay, $5 for the autograph, and then $5. We look at their mom and and stuff, but I always get the kids crap and joke with them and stuff, but they love being down there and seeing all the people and their bikes and stuff, and that was a great time too. We always had a good time with Mickey.
Oh yeah, we did. You won the title in '94, or was it '93?
'93.
'93. Talk about what it felt like to be with all of those great riders at that time. And this is still kind of early in your debut, in your career of being considered one of those guys, and to win that title with the likes of Gary Denton and Donnie Banks,
Charlie Shepard.
Yeah.
There were numerous other greats too that were there. Yeah, that was a tough field. That was a tough. There's a lot of great riders, and you just had to be very consistent and never have a bad day, because you had a bad day, you would have everybody else wouldn't, so it seemed like, but it was one of the greatest moments of my life. I mean, definitely just started riding for Duncan Racing, pretty much. I only go to you guys for.
You started with us at the end of '92, the beginning of '93.
Yeah, so next year, pretty much, won the championship for you guys, and that big bonus check. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah, it got lost in the mail.
Yeah, that was a great time and a big, big check on my bucket list to win the Mickeys, it was real racing, but they still had to make it, for the fans. But it was some good stuff. There was great competition there, and I mean, yeah, I was surprised I did it. I mean, I just didn't know I had that kind of good backing and stuff like that. It was mainly what it was, all the people that helped me get me there.
That's pretty awesome. Did you race much desert before you came down to California?
None. I did, riding up in Washington in the woods and trees a little bit, but never did any desert. First desert race I did was Bill Lemfield. Missed that guy too. We were doing the Mickeys, and he goes, "Hey, there's a desert race out in Vegas. Do you want to go?" I go, "Well, all I got's my practice bike, really." He goes, "Well, put some bigger tires on it and probably take the Nerf bars off, and we'll go out and do this desert race just for fun." And I don't go do any race for fun. I go to win. So I went that way with Bill Lampier, and we went out to Vegas, and we did this desert race. And of course, they tell you at the meeting, of course, you get disqualified, blah, blah, blah. And so I get about, off the start, the bottom, I get about a third place start, which is kind of right where I wanted to be, because I had no idea where I was going, what I was doing. And so I just followed these guys for the first lap. And then I passed them at the end of the first lap. And no, actually, I passed him on the first lap. It was the first lap when we were going out, and I got to a part in the course where it wide, and I looked at that, and there was no markers, and I'm going, okay, which way do I go? And so I went right because it looked like the track most used, and I'm looking, I'm going, okay, no markers. I must have went the wrong way, and all of a sudden I was back on markers. I'm going, okay, well, I guess I'm okay. And so I keep going. I get back in and do the checkpoint, and then go for my second lap and do another lap. And I come back in for the first checkpoint at the beginning again. And John was his name, John something that was promoting. He goes, "Oh, the guy said you cut the course." I'm going, "What? I don't know. I don't think I cut the course." He goes, I go, "Okay, so now what?" He goes, "We usually disqualify, but we're going to dock you some time and figure it out at the end." I go, "So I can keep riding?" He goes, "Yeah, keep riding." So I rode. I knew I was against clock against these guys, so I rode my ass off. I was just riding as hard as I could. I had so many blood blisters and blisters on my hands when I got done, and I was catching up to Bill. I was lapping Bill last year, and it was coming to this part of the course where it had just a little section where it kind of just had two different lanes. And I go, "Oh, I'm going to hit him right at the right spot," and just fly right by, but I'll wave at him. And about the time I went to take the left-hand course, he moved over to the left-hand course too, and I ran right into the back of him. Just made him just solitaire a little bit. And I go, "Oh, hey, Bill, how you doing?" But yeah, I cleaned him pretty good. It didn't hurt my bike any, so we got a hook, and I kept going and stuff. And of course, at the end, I beat these guys by almost 25 minutes, and they docked me 30 minutes. It was moved me back into like fourth place, one out of the money. I looked at the promoter. I go, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I go, "Look at my hands. You know how hard I rode to beat these guys and stuff?" He goes, "Yeah, but I got to live with these guys." I'm going, "I don't care." But yeah, I just went out there and beat my practice bike to death, and I go, "That's my last desert race," because I didn't have a good taste about it. But I ended up going back and and doing really good in a lot of desert races after that. So I like the desert races. It's kind of, you're kind of one-on-one, you against the course, and you got to ride hard and smart. Save the bike.
When you got to go into the best in the desert and the score stuff, a lot of the times you were the anchor. How did that make you feel to be the guy that, when it came down to the tight stuff where it mattered because you either had a short lead or you were behind? How did you feel about the teams just putting you on the machine?
Nah, it didn't bother me at all. It's race face all the way. I mean, I knew what I had to do. I went out there, rode as hard as I could and tried to bring it in, either on top of the box or whatever happened. So I always gave it 110% to try to win.
Did you ever feel pressured by that?
I mean, I would. Now I look back at it, would say really no, but I'm sure I did a little bit, but it was you can hear ACDC. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
That's going to overshadow us just a bit.
but yeah, no, I didn't really. I felt a little bit of pressure, not a lot.
Maybe they'll turn it down a little bit. I don't think they're going to, but that's okay. I know that in all of the races that I did with you, we did some 24-hour races down in the Southern California desert, and you were the guy when we needed laps, when we needed time. You were the guy we put on the bike.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just went out and did my job. I did the best I could and gave it 110%. You don't ride it so hard that you break the bike. I did a couple times, but you try not to. You try to go fast and save the bike and bring the bike in. And you don't finish, you don't win.
Right on. One of the stories that I remember, I wasn't there for this event, but John Gregory was telling me about it. That you had a problem out on the course, and you had no tools.
Nothing I needed to fix the bike.
And you brought the bike back with missing a tire, a flat tire, and you had to take a tire off and put it on the other side so that you could balance it. You remember that day?
Oh yeah. That was racing the Honda Rubicon down in Baja in 1000. I had 80 miles left to go. And I was going through this silt bed, and there was just, silt was flying everywhere. That stuff, I don't know if you guys have ever raced in silt, but it's like talcum powder. I mean, it's just really soft, and you can't see anything in the silt. I mean, and I hit something, I don't know if it was a rock or a rut, but it hit, the bike hit and turned sides and flipped me over, and I swan dive, Superman into the silt, and I went, and first thing I was thinking, I hope it didn't hurt the bike, and of course I got up and the freaking front wheel was all cocked off, broke the ball joint, and so I got on the radio, we had scat phones, and I said, hey, next pit, whatever it was, I forget, toward the bottom, I need a ball joint really bad, and nobody answered me back, so I go, well, I can't really fix this, and I had to take the tire off and put it over one side, and I rode it 80. Well, I went to the next pit, and there was nobody had been there. Nobody brought me a ball joint. Nobody brought anything. Nobody was there from our pit because it was a remote pit. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not sticking around here. I can still grow. So I kept going, and I never seen. I hit another pit. There was nobody there either. So I just kept riding. I rode it 80 miles with all three wheels, and then right towards the end I got a flat too. But yeah, that was one of the disheartening ones, that we were leading at 80 miles to go, and I broke the bike, and that was not the first time I did that. I did the same thing. Already?
Oh, you're still on
Well, grab a chair and wait.
But
I'll just sit.
good, buddy.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Take care.
You too.
Come back when you can stay longer.
Yeah.
But we were one Baja 1000. We were leading, and I broke the bike. Well, the bike broke. The motor kind of the gear or something. I don't know if somebody was hard on the gears before me or what, but one of the gears went out, and we had less than 100 miles to go, or right around 100 to go, and lost that race too, which was very. After all that time, after all those miles, I think I put in over 400 miles that race, and on being on the bike. But yeah, it's pretty disheartening when you know you have a chance to win and you're gone that far, and something like gremlin bites you, and you just kind of go, oh no, and just kind of hang your head, and you just go, well, what can I do to make this work? What can I do to fix it? Still got to try to finish. It's just sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Right. One of the best things about what we do is we've always scoured the rule book to make sure that when we were in a given situation, we would be prepared. With situations in Baja, how far could you tow? With works, was it in the rule book? Was it not in the rule book? And there were always people that were angered by the fact that I knew the rules. Yeah,
you knew the rules. We pushed. We didn't push the limit, but we did what was we were able to do, and people didn't like that. They didn't know you could do that. Oh, we would have done that the last race. We would have known. Read the rule book.
Yeah, that was the whole key to everything, especially when we raced works, because it was such a new series, and there were loopholes. As much as people don't want to admit it, there were loopholes, and no offense, I used every one of them because that was the game. That was what you had to do.
That reminds me of Washougal. We went up there, and Washougal was always, not always, but it always seemed to be my hometown, my home track. I always loved racing there. Washougal was my old stomping grounds, and I grew up there racing their motorcycles for years and years. But anyway, we went up there and worked race, and it rained a lot. It was pretty muddy, and a lot of the track outside of the motocross track was kind of a clay, really slick, kind of like snot almost. It's just like oil on concrete or something. So we went back to my buddy's house, Kevin Waltz, and a good buddy of mine. We went back to his house and we put screws in the tires. Yep. We took a bunch of roofing screws and cut them off a little bit and screwed them into the tires, all in the back tires, a little bit in the front tires, and we covered it up, took it back to the track the next day, and a lot of people were not happy. And Sean Reddish came up and goes, "You guys are causing a lot of problems for me." He goes, "Well, there's nothing in the rule books about it. We say we can do it." He goes, "Yeah, I know, but you're causing a lot of problems for me. A lot of people are not happy about this." And I go, we're here to win, no matter what. We're here to win. This is what we came to do, is to win. And of course, I whole shot and led the whole race. Josh Fredericks caught onto it somehow, and they did the same thing, but they didn't put the right length screws in, and he had a couple flats, but it was still good racing. And yeah, we definitely pushed the rule book. And of course, next year, no screws, no studs.
Well, that's the whole deal. One of the things that I always like to do is I like to put our bikes on display before the race and make sure they were clean and everybody could see them.
Nobody could figure out why our bike wasn't out.
Yeah, I kept it into the trailer until I think our call to the gate was 10 minutes out. So they didn't have a lot of time, but it was amazing the crowd that showed up when it rolled out of the trailer. And I think totally one of the reasons was because we held it in the trailer so long.
Yeah, it definitely was.
That was a great day. I still have a picture of this bright green grass, the bright white trailer, the blue easy ups. You can see everybody around you is all clean and shiny and bright, and you're just a brown blob in the center. The bike and you couldn't tell the difference. You didn't know what color it was. It was a pretty muddy, mazy race.
Was that the race?
That was Washougal, same race.
Washougal when we did. Was that when we
That's when you did the studs.
Was that the studs?
Yep.
There's other years when we were up there and we ran the Kawasaki.
Yep.
Kawasaki monster in the mud, and
You made Cycle News cover.
yeah, and 700, that big old pig, and didn't whole shot, but almost did. But we still won. We won that race, that big thing in the mud, and we didn't put studs in it. Didn't need it. It was heavy enough as it was, but but yeah, I got pretty muddy that race up there in Washougal too. But
That one it came out way better. Didn't you have an issue where you had to use the reverse during that race with that big monster?
yeah, I just put it in forward, and you're supposed to start with your hand on the helmet, and they said, "Oh, you can't do that. You got to put it in reverse. You got to reach down and put it in forward." I go, "Okay." So it was, but come on, I'm riding a 10,000-pound bike. It's like it's gonna be 20 by the time we get done the race. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, you plowed through some trees and it.
Oh yeah, people and trees, and I mean, because a lot of people were getting stuck, and I was just going around and over them, and it was typical Washougal.
I remember we brought both of those 700s back because we both took 700s to race in Utah, and we brought them both home on the wrecker.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you demolished yours. I just hurt mine a little bit.
Yeah, mine was. We didn't think that we were going to get enough parts to put it back together.
Yeah, you ran out of talent that time.
I did. I thought it was a tabletop, and it was a double, and I hit the face of the other side. And when you have a 600-pound quad, and it lands incorrectly, it destroys.
Land darts stops and
it broke the cast hub. It broke all the mounting where you would mount the studs through. Broke all of that straight off. Collapsed the wheel. There was other stuff that was broken and bent.
Yeah, we had to get a dozer out there to pick that thing up and take it off the track.
Actually, when we were trying to leave, nobody would help us, and you started it and put it in gear and drug it up onto the back of the truck.
Rode it right up the back.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was ready to go home.
Only you could do that.
I don't know about that, but just no brain, no pain, and do about anything.
A lot of people don't remember this though, that you spent quite a few seasons back east. Right after Mickey stopped, we had basically no option where we're going to race. There was no West Coast Series at the time, and we loaded up a trailer and took your Honda and your Banshee back, and you raced the Nationals for 3 years.
3 years we ran the Nationals back east. Me and you traveled back and forth. We kept the rig in Tennessee with the Duggins.
Yep.
Duggins, Tennessee. And yeah, they were great people. What great people they were. And we used to go back there, and they would cook us, home cooked meals and whatnot. We would clean the bikes after whatever race we went to, and they had one of those great big grasshopper lawnmowers, and I like to get out there and I'd mow a lawn for it because I like playing on the lawnmower, the big grasshopper, and spin around out in the lawn. But we'd fly into Nashville and then take a rental car to Truck and Canyon, and then we'd go wherever we needed to go and bring it back and leave it there, and then start all over again.
A lot of people don't really remember that time in your career, but that Banshee that you raced back there, you won almost 60 races on that Banshee.
I love that Banshee. I'm so mad about selling. I should have never sold that bike. That was an awesome bike. That bike meant actually, now it's got a lot of sentimental value, And if you got my Banshee, I want it back. Let me know where it's at. I want it here. Lenny said it's back east somewhere, so we've kind of been looking for it. But yeah, that Banshee was like I said. I mean, I won the last Mickey on that Banshee, and then we converted it over to motocross, and that took 3 or 4 races because we had short shocks on it for the Mickeys. And I'm not riding motocross. Banshee with short shocks on it because we didn't have any shocks yet, and it was bottoming out all over the place. But yeah, that Banshee was an awesome bike. I mean, Lauren had such a great motor in that bike. It was not real pipey, and it had for a Banshee it had decent bottom end, and it was just a fun bike to ride. It worked so well, and I always loved riding that bike.
Well, we could race motocross one weekend, and we could convert it and race TT on it the next.
Yeah, we would change it over and put the shorter shocks on it, and the sway bar in the front, and put the slicks on it and whatnot, and go race TT, which was new to me. I had never done that. I mean, I think did I ever finish on the podium in doing the TTs?
In the 250 class, you got on the podium more than once. You never got past the third spot, but you were third quite a few times. You were even in the top 5 quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean, those guys back here, back east too, and Shane Hitt and Timmy Farr and what was that? Other guy's name was really good.
Greg Baker, Charlie Shepard, all those guys were just awesome.
But those guys, I mean, they were like TT specialists and stuff, and I was happy just to be hanging on their coattails mainly to do as well as I did their TT. And I mean, we learned a lot as far as doing TT stuff that neither one of us knew anything about really. But the Banshee, yeah, we always finished,
I think
on
you
the
won
box or on top of the box with the Banshee, and then we were chasing. I mean, with the 250, there were so many good guys. I mean, I was anywhere from 10th to 5th, most of the time. But but it was different. It was a whole different style of riding, and setting up. The biggest thing was setting up the bike, and always trying to get from Shane Hitt. But I never knew it was talking to him if he was telling me a little fib or if he was telling me the truth how he would set up the bike. But because Shane was quite the character too. He was always messing with you. He'd tell you one thing and say, "I watched you get it go turn the tires all backwards." You can like a laugh at him.
He did joke with us quite a bit. I mean, there were some great times. Throwing the football from camp to camp or pit to pit. One year in Indiana, Pennsylvania. I mean, we had a ball that day. We didn't get the bike done, but we screwed around a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't get a lot of downtime when we traveled, but the times we did, we tried to make the best of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, learn the hard way that life is definitely too short. You got to take advantage of it and enjoy it. I mean,
you had a motocross career on the West Coast too, where you came out and raced quad cross with Dustin Nelson and Frenchie and the guys in the Can-Am. And this is later in your career when you're in your later 40s. I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, I think you were 46. You were still racing Mickey. You were still racing Works and winning. But quad cross was a hill that we decided that we wanted to climb. It was fruitful. It was
local, so
yeah, it was fruitful for us for a little bit. I remember being out at the what the heck was the name of the pit track out in Arizona?
Yeah. What was that? Yeah, right. Pit they dug for the.
It was right behind the prison.
Yeah, right behind the prison.
You went out there and won in that day.
Yep. Yeah, that was for being down in the pit and stuff, and then coming up out of the pit and back down in again. I've ridden there before a couple times, and
ACP.
That, yeah, that was a pretty neat little track. It wasn't too bad. It was hot, and then dry slick kind of most of the time until they watered, and it was snotty slick. But it was a pretty good little track. We had a good time with it.
You know, you think about your career, and it spanned from the 80s into the 2000s. I don't even remember what was the year last year, 9 or 10. Think about that. 86, I believe you stepped into the pro class, and you rode pro until 2000.
Yeah. I had ridden motorcycles for years and years, and fallen off those many times, and decided I needed to get 2 more wheels. But so I started when actually it was the '86 Thriller I first got, and I was retired. I had quit racing 2-wheelers because I was racing 125 Pro and just started racing 250 Pro on the 2-wheelers, and I was out practicing on a buddy's 250 one day and just got cross-rotted on a jump and just pancaked it like they do nowadays, which is no big deal, but back then it was a big deal. And so I crashed and dislocated my shoulder, and I had fallen off quite a few other times, and I broke my ankle and never fell off the bike, but caught a rut and broke my ankle, and I just decided, well, maybe racing's not for me, and I hung it up. I gave a buddy back his 250 dirt bike, and I sold my 125, and I bought a 250R Thriller, and I didn't have so much fun in my life. I go bombing around all over town, and I built a set of car chains that I cut down, and I rubber band both sides with car chains and took it out in the hard packed snow and throwing rooster tails about 15 feet in the air and running all over town. The cops were chasing me and they couldn't catch me. I had a great time with that bike, and we would go down to Sand Lake. I joined a club in the river. We would go down to Sand Lake and ride at Sand Lake and stuff, and I hear that Washugo's racing quads and thrillers. I go, hey, a buddy of mine, I go, hey, let's go down and race Washugo. I'd racing there for years without 2-wheeler, and I go, let's go race the quads. He had a 250R too. So that Friday at work, of course, I smashed my hands at work, broke both of my middle fingers, and squished the other ones. I had a forklift accident, but so I couldn't go. So my buddy borrowed my 3-wheeler, and he went down there and crashed and broke his collarbone. And I sold the 3-wheeler the next week, and when the '86 250R quad came out, and bought one of those, and as soon as my hands got better and stuff, and I went down to Washugo again and signed up pro, and with a bone stock bike. I think I had a silencer, I had a slip-on it, answer slip-on I think I had on it, and that's all it was done to it. I raced in bone stock, and I went out there this morning and drove sauce and bone stock bike, and so I go, hey, this is fun, I'll do this some more.
And little did you know then that you would become an...
Never dreamed of going and doing what I have done, you know, and never would have thought.
International.
Just out having fun. Hey, let's go have fun. Let's go kick some kids' butt.
So, in that respect, most of the time we raced together, you were having a ball.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I love doing it. I wish I was still racing right now. I mean, I'd love to be racing. I miss it so much, and always enjoyed doing it. And nothing better than winning.
Right. There's no better feel. You know, I can tell you that in the times that we spent together, that it gives you a whole new perspective on racing when you aren't winning. We were very fortunate. We won a lot.
Yeah, we did. We won a lot. I mean, we definitely had our days where we got beat, and there was somebody better, or we had problems. But yeah, we always did very well.
I think we did. I think that they're getting ready to make some noise here that we're not going to be able to overcome. But Doug, as always, brother, I really appreciate the time that we got to spend racing together, and your friendship. You know, as always, there's always highs and lows to everything, but you're always one of my favorite people, and I'd go travel on the road with you today if we could go race again.
Let's go.
We gotta find something that we can race. I don't think we want to race with a cage though. That's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like racing something 2 wheels or 4 wheels, but yeah, with the cage, okay, it's okay. I mean, you sit in there, you go, woo, that's it. But it's no finesse. So I like to be able to finesse the bike and ride the bike and show what I'm capable and what the bike's capable.
Right.
And with the car, you're showing a little bit of driving talent and what the car can do. But I like finessing the bike around.
I agree. Again, thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate it.
The team here at ATV-TALK would love your feedback. Please email us at hello@atvtalkpodcast.com.
If you're in need of a consultation for your current racing program, a custom ATV, or an industry guest speaker, I have the company for you. Duncan Technologies International Inc. offers host, MC, and guest speaking services at events. Builds custom ATVs for recreational riding or racing around the world. And they offer consulting services for professional teams or individual racers. Send inquiries to duncantechinternational@gmail.com or call 619-716-1532 for more information. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV Talk Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter